Alrighty, in this question we're given three numbers in registers 1, 2 and 3, and we want to find out which one is the highest and put that number into register 0. So the way we're going to do this is with a bunch of compare instructions and doing some conditional branches. And the one condition I'm going to use an awful lot is the greater than condition, so signed greater than. Okay, so let's jump to VS Code and start writing some code. So we'll compare R1 and R2, and let's say R1 is bigger, so R1 bigger, okay, otherwise we'll do R2 Okay, so what are we doing here? We're comparing R1 and R2, and if R1 is bigger than R2, then there's not really any point in comparing with R2 anymore, so we'll compare R1 and R3. But if it's not a greater, then we'll instead not worry about R1 because it's smaller than R2 and therefore it cannot be the greatest number, so we won't take the branch and we'll fall through to comparing with R3. So essentially what we're doing here is working out which one of these two numbers is bigger, R1 or R2, and then we compare it with R3, the number in R3. Alright, so as a result of this instruction we can then say BJT, BGT now R2, oh, excuse me, greatest, and we'll have BGT R1 greatest. So I know I haven't written anything under these labels yet, but I'll do that in a moment. It's pretty simple to infer what they might do. Okay, so our question asks us to put the greatest number into R0. So let's go back to VS Code here, R3. Okay, and we'll just put some BNs on the end of all these so we don't accidentally fall through and do code that we didn't want to do. Okay, so is this doing, we need one here as well, BN. Alright, so how does this work? So we see which one is bigger out of R1 or R2, and then we compare that one with register 3. Now in each of these cases, if we don't take the branch, so if register 2 isn't greater than register 3, then register 3 must be the greatest, so we move it into our destination. We sort of repeat this logical pattern here of we find the greatest out of 2, and we compare that one to the other one, and we then take the greater of that and put it into our destination register. Okay, so let's put some numbers in here and give it a red hot crack. Alright, so step R3 is clearly the biggest number here and R2 is the smallest. Okay, so I don't think it's worth, yeah, we'll get our registers up, screw it. So register 1 is clearly greater than register 2, right? We can look at that here and tell. So we'll branch to our R1 bigger, because R1 is bigger of those two. Now we're going to compare it to register 3. Now register 3 is an even larger number than register 1, so we won't take this conditional branch. So this implicitly means that R1 is less than or equal to R3, which means that R3 is the greatest number. And now R3 can't be bigger than R2, because R1 is bigger than R2 and R3 is bigger than R1. So we can sort of chain together the logic there to get the correct answer. Cool, so I think this is a fairly self-explanatory question. It's just a little bit of basic logic and maths. If you're having trouble with it, then just I suggest you download the solutions and have a go at it yourself.